Now, Iranians and Turkish, they did many dams on the sources of water which comes to Iraq. More than 22 dams and hydropower have been built by Turkish government through the Gab River, namely the Gab project. Really, now the water is not satisfied. Several meetings, negotiations, diplomatic movements, but we are not satisfied about the amounts of water which is coming. Iranians last year, they cut the smaller Zab River. They built more than 13 dams on smaller Zab River, which is disaster. And you know that Iranians doesn't listen any negotiation. Silwan River, also Iran built more than 14 dams. They want to divert more than 1 billion cubic meter per year. This will be disaster because at that time the dam of Derbil Khan will be empty. Iran cut also Kerkha and Karon, both rivers in the south of Iraq, which is about 15 billion cubic meter.
With this project, we found some new very deep aquifer that could be strategic resources for Iraq. Obviously, these aquifers are connected with the other countries because you know that the geology, the underground environment have no boundary. Two countries, the two neighboring countries, are connected.
UNESCO certainly wants to advise the Iraqi government to initiate talks with the countries concerned. In that particular case, you're referring to the water derived from Saudi Arabia. And we have some transboundary components that relate to the joint borders with Syria, Iran, and of course Turkey. Up to this point in time, the political climate is not very favorable.
That's a big problem, the problem of trust between all of the Iraq with the neighboring country. We are negotiating now. I am a representative of Kurdistan Regional Government in the negotiation with the neighboring country and also part of the Iraqi delegation. We always negotiate how we can exchange data, how it will be the data available. But till now, we are negotiating and there is no exchange of data.
Historically, informations are considered a power, so they are hardly something that the government wants to share. And this is a major impediment for, especially in this particular field, for future development, for further investigation. One discussion we are having is how to, for example, convince the Ministry of Oil, which is most likely holding critical information for future development of the product, critical, that will allow maybe strategic resources, those that are deeper in the aquifers, deeper in the ground, to be developed and discovered. They most likely have the information, we are not allowed to see them, and probably because there is ignorance in what we want to do with that data. So we were brainstorming on finding ways to approach the government and the Ministry of Oil to convince them that after all they have nothing to lose in sharing that information. So once the water is found, how the government of Iraq should exploit that water, what kind of legislation should be set in motion. The groundwater system is, yes, exploited, but also not destroyed. The areas where, for example, groundwater is recharged, those areas should be protected because obviously that water, once entering into the system, if polluted, then it's something that is not usable anymore. So those mountains where it's raining and where the recharge happens, they should be protected. So all of this are policies, regulation, among many others that has to be somehow defined.